Regional Representative for the UN Human Rights Office.
Good evening. On behalf of the Fijian government and the Honorable Attorney General, who unfortunately could not join us this evening, it is indeed a pleasure to be here this evening for the opening of this workshop on the rights of the child within the criminal justice system. Children in contact with the criminal justice system are often in vulnerable positions, unaware of their rights, and many a times unable to even enforce them. Whether as children in need of protection, children at risk, children during and upon arrest, during trial, in detention, or as victims and witnesses. Understanding the psychological, emotional, and physical needs of children is not only complex but challenging. Therefore, it is imperative that we ensure that the criminal justice system does not re-traumatize children and at the same time does not compromise the rights of an accused person to a fair trial. The Convention on the Rights of the Child, CRC, which Fiji ratified in 1993, protects the interests as well as the rights of children who come into contact with the justice and related systems. For instance, Article 35 of the Convention requires state parties to ensure that detention of children is only a measure of last resort and for the shortest period of time. It also requires for every child who is deprived of liberty to be separated from adults, unless it is in the best interest of the child not to do so. Article 40 also of the Convention further requires state parties to determine all matters concerning children without delay, in the presence of legal and other appropriate assistance or his or her parents or legal guardians. In its entirety, the Convention makes it mandatory that the best interests of the child must be of paramount concern even within the criminal justice system. In recognition of our obligations under the Convention, the Fijian government has expressed provisions on the rights of the child in the Constitution, in the Fijian Constitution of 2013. In particular, Section 41 of the Constitution sets out that every child has a right not to be detained except as a measure of last resort, and when detained, to be held only for such period of time as is necessary and to be held separate from adults and in conditions that take into account the child's sex and age. In implementing this right, the Fijian government has set up 2 detention centers to accommodate children or young offenders and ensuring that they are detained separately from adults. The Fijian government recognizes that general detention can have a highly detrimental impact on children, which includes dislocating children from family and the community life, impeding their personal development, and entrenching criminal identities, behaviors, and associations. Therefore, in these centers, children are given the opportunity to educate themselves, develop the necessary skills, and inclusively rehabilitate themselves, as opposed to imposing punishments on them. In further recognition of the Convention, particularly in expediting the process of judicial matters relating to children, we have in place a free legal assistance scheme provided by the Legal Aid Commission, whereby juveniles are exempted from the application process and are automatically eligible for legal assistance and representation. We have about 16 Legal Aid Commission offices currently in operation throughout the country, and another 5 will open in 2017-2018. This is all part of the government's commitment to ease access to justice for all Fijians, including in particular children. Ladies and gentlemen, in the last few years, Fiji has implemented various legislative protections to indeed protect children within the criminal justice system. The Criminal Procedure Act, for example, allows prosecutors, before the commencement of a trial, to make an application before a judicial officer for directions as to the procedures for the evidence of vulnerable witnesses. The judicial officer may call for and receive relevant reports from persons who are considered to be qualified to render advice on the effect of such witnesses giving evidence and its effect on such witnesses. Hence, in order to protect the safety and welfare of vulnerable witnesses, a judicial officer may allow a child witness to give evidence at trial through various means, such as video recording, giving out-of-court evidence, and the provision of screens and petitions. The Child Welfare Act of 2010 also ensures mandatory reporting of cases of possible, likely, or actual harm to children by imposing a duty of care on medical, teachers, and other professionals handling cases of possible child abuse. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has in place a Child Protection Division to conduct criminal proceedings on sexual and other serious offenses committed against children or matters where the children are primary witnesses. The Child Protection Guidelines of 2009 contain many important measures, including steps taken in building rapport with the child victim, decision on whether to oppose bail for the accused, and considerations relating to pre-trial applications, such as witness protection applications, including, of course, name suppression and closed court mentions and hearings. The Fijian government, ladies and gentlemen, is committed to advancing, protecting, and promoting the rights of children in the criminal justice system through robust legal mechanisms which are actually in place and which indeed can be further developed in line with modern international standards and practices. The challenge is, of course, to strike a delicate balance between the rights of a child and the rights of an accused to a fair trial within the criminal justice system, all of which are rights guaranteed under the Fijian Constitution. This workshop indeed is the first of its kind and will help identify this balance, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a priority of the Fijian government that the best interest of the child is the paramount consideration in any matters relating to children. Whilst we have progressive and robust laws, we recognize that a lot more can in fact be done to ensure that the rights of the child are better protected. We look forward to continuing our work with all relevant stakeholders to ensure the protection and preservation of the rights of children in Fiji. I'd like to close by thanking the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights for organizing such a workshop, and also welcome and thank the experts who will lead various sessions throughout the next few days. It is without doubt that there will be many positive outcomes from this workshop, and on behalf of the Fijian government, I wish you all a very successful workshop. Vinaka.